On a crisp November afternoon in 2024, the small town of Willow Creek, Montana, buzzed with the hum of everyday life. The air carried the sharp scent of pine and the first whispers of snow from the rugged Bitterroot Mountains, blending with the rich aroma of coffee wafting from Rosie's Diner on Main Street. Pickup trucks lined the road, their tailgates down as locals strung up red, white, and blue banners for the upcoming Veterans Day parade, a tradition marked by the distant clang of the old church bell and the chatter of kids racing home from school. Inside Carter's auto showroom, a gleaming glass fortress of new cars, polished floors mirrored the overhead chandeliers, and a flat-screen TV looped ads for the latest Ford F-150 and Chevy Silverado. Salesmen in sharp suits moved with confidence, their voices a low murmur of deals, while a neon sign blinked "Dreams on Wheels" above the entrance. It was a typical day in this tight-knit community until an old man and his teenage son stepped through the doors. Hank Mitchell, a weathered 58-year-old rancher, shuffled in with a faded denim jacket, patched at the elbows and jeans worn thin from decades of toil on their failing cattle ranch. His gray eyes, clouded by hardship and a recent hip injury, scanned the showroom with a mix of hope and hesitation, leaning on a cane carved from an old oak branch, a relic of better days before the drought hit. Beside him trailed Jake Mitchell, his 17-year-old son, his hand-me-down hoodie stained with motor oil from fixing tractors and old farm equipment around town, his dark hair tousled by the wind. Jake's youthful face hid a quiet determination forged by years of struggle, his hands calloused from odd jobs to help the family scrape by. The salesman, Chad Larson, a slick-haired 30-year-old in a tailored gray suit with a flashy watch, eyed them with a sneer. "Folks, this ain't a charity lot. We don't do test drives for dreamers. Try the used car lot down the road by the gas station." Hank's voice trembled but held firm. "A buddy from the VFW said he'd help us buy a truck. Thought we could look." Chad smirked, adjusting his tie. "Sure, pal. Unless you've got cash up front, hit the bricks." Jake clenched his fists, biting back words, but his heart burned with the sting of rejection. The showroom's warmth faded as they stepped back into the biting Montana cold, the glass doors closing with a soft thud. That night, back in their creaky trailer on the edge of town, Hank sat by the wood stove, its faint glow illuminating the cracks in the walls and the sagging couch. "Sorry, son. Guess we ain't cut out for that world," he muttered, staring at the flickering flames, his hands trembling from the day's humiliation. Jake nodded, his eyes fixed on a leak dripping from the ceiling onto a rusted bucket. Something shifted inside him, a resolve hardened by years of being called a no-good kid by his parents, who saw only the family's mounting debt, not his potential. Sarah Mitchell, his 45-year-old mother, a frail woman with tired eyes, stirred a pot of thin soup on the stove. "We'll manage, Jake. We always do," she said, her voice laced with exhaustion. Weeks later, a new wound opened. Jake's older sister, Lily Mitchell, 21 and a star of Willow Creek High's debate team, faced a shattered engagement. Her fiancé, Tyler Reed, a 24-year-old bank teller from Bozeman with a flashy smile and a leased BMW, called off the wedding, citing her family's low status and demanding a Harley-Davidson motorcycle and $10,000 as a dowry to prove their worth. The community whispered over coffee at Rosie's Diner, "Who'd marry a girl from that broke clan?" Lily, with her warm brown eyes and steady heart, had always been the family's hope, earning scholarships to keep her dreams alive. She told her parents, "Let's wait. Jake's working hard. Let him find his way first." But the pressure grew. Hank, desperate to restore their honor, borrowed $8,000 from a shady lender at the edge of town, a grizzled man named Earl with a scarred face. Pawning his late wife's wedding ring, a gold band etched with their initials, H&M, a symbol of their 25-year marriage cut short by cancer. The wedding day arrived with a festive parade, balloons bobbing in the wind, and a high school band playing Sweet Home Alabama. But Tyler's family walked out mid-ceremony, claiming the dowry fell short. "Our son's honor is at stake. We're not begging," Tyler's father spat, his voice cutting through the silence. The tent fell still. Lily stood frozen, her eyes dry as stone, her mother collapsing in a faint from the shock, and Hank clutching his chest as a heart attack gripped him, collapsing into Jake's arms. The village's taunts echoed. Their boys useless, and now their girls unmarriable. That night, under a starlit Montana sky, Jake made a vow. "I'll earn enough to shut them all up, starting with that showroom." He ditched high school, facing his parents' protests. "You're throwing your life away." But his mind was set. He taught himself coding via free Wi-Fi at the Willow Creek Library, its creaky wooden floors and dusty shelves his classroom, staying late into the night. With a borrowed laptop from Cody, his best friend since grade school, he dove into stock trading, studying charts by candlelight in their drafty trailer, the wind whistling through the gaps. Losses stung, $200 gone in a bad trade on a tech stock crash. But he persisted, borrowing $50 from Cody for his first real move. When he turned a $10 profit, he whispered to the night, "This is just the start." Months passed, marked by sleepless nights and cold mornings, and his account hit $100,000. He called Sarah. "Ma, things are changing. Trust me," she sighed. "Just come home safe, Jake." Your pa's heart ain't what it was. By mid-2025, Jake was a millionaire, running a small investment fund with Cody, who handled logistics, and Mia Harper, a 19-year-old marketing whiz from the next town, who spread their gains online. But the showroom lingered in his mind. Chad's sneer, the humiliation, the way it crushed his dad's spirit. One day he dressed in a crisp flannel shirt and jeans, booking a Mercedes S-Class with cash. Its sleek black finish, a stark contrast to their old life. He chose Carter's Auto Showroom, walking in with Hank, now steadier on his cane after months of therapy. Chad's eyes narrowed. "Back again? This ain't a playground." Jake smiled, a cold fire in his gaze, and slid a folder across the counter. Bank statements, investment records, proof of millions. Chad's face paled. You're Jake Mitchell?" Jake nodded. "And today I'm buying this whole place." The room fell silent. Staff gathered, stunned as Jake addressed them. "A year ago, you threw us out because we looked poor. Today, I own this. But I'm still Jake, the kid who worked nights to get here. No revenge, just a lesson. Don't judge a book by its cover." Chad stammered. "We didn't know, man. I'm sorry." Jake cut him off. "Sorry doesn't fix it. Learn this. Respect everyone." He ordered a discount program for local ranchers and a sign. "Value every soul. Your next boss might be in rags." Sitting in the manager's chair, he felt no pride, just peace, the weight of his father's shame lifting. Driving home in the Mercedes, Hank asked, "What's next, son?" Jake grinned. "Building a future for folks like us." Back in Willow Creek, the town buzzed. Jake, the millionaire who bought a showroom to prove a point. At home, Sarah hugged him, tears flowing. "My boy did it," she whispered. Lily smiled. "You did it, bro." Jake shifted Hank to a top hospital in Missoula, the bills paid with a single check, and fixed their trailer with new walls, a heater, and a porch swing where Sarah could watch the sunset. But his journey wasn't over. The village's past taunts gnawed at him. The broken wedding, the shame family, the way Earl's loan still hung over them. One day he told Hank, "Pa, if you say so, I'll arrange Lily's wedding again. Our terms this time." Hank frowned. "Who'd say yes now?" with her name dragged through the mud. Jake smirked. Lines will form, Pa, but we want someone who respects her, no dowry. Weeks later, Lily's wedding was set with Ethan Cole, a 26-year-old teacher from a modest Montana family who asked for no dowry, just love and a partnership. The ceremony, held in the community church with potluck pies and a string quartet, drew the whole town. Jake invited the village elders who'd once mocked them, including Tyler's father, now sheepish. Smiling, Jake said, "You're here to honor us. That's enough." An elder stood, voice trembling. "Jake, you've done what no one in Willow Creek has. You've lifted your family and us all." A tear fell, not of weakness, but of victory. Lily's laughter rang out as she danced with Ethan, her eyes bright with a new future. After the wedding, Jake's life dawned anew. Lily's smile, a new world. But he knew his journey continued. That night, with the family asleep, he opened his laptop. Charts, stocks, and digital marketing numbers glowed, proof of his millions from savvy trades in renewable energy stocks. Yet his focus shifted. "I need impact now," he muttered, planning a platform to teach rural kids coding, inspired by his own grind. The next day, he headed to Bozeman, assembling a team. Imran Patel, a 22-year-old app developer from Seattle with a knack for user-friendly design. Rachel Brooks, a 24-year-old social media expert from Denver with a viral touch. And Priya Sharma, a 23-year-old designer from Portland with eyes that dreamed on computer screens. "No money talk yet," Jake said. "I want a platform, roots up, to skill kids in villages, showing digital isn't just for cities." Imran nodded. "Bro, this is a massive project." Jake smiled. "Big dreams need big roots." The team bonded over late-night coding sessions, fueled by diner coffee, their passion igniting. Months later, Roots Up spread to neighboring towns. Jake's story going viral on Instagram Reels with hashtags like #Montana Miracle. Investors offered $5 million for the app, but he refused. "This is my blood, not for sale," he told Mia, who grinned. "You're a legend, Jake." He wasn't just Jake anymore. He was a mission. Yet one memory stung: the showroom's initial rejection, the way it broke his dad's spirit. A year after buying it, he returned with Hank, both in old clothes, denim jacket and jeans, driving a beat-up Chevy they'd kept for nostalgia. Chad's sneer returned. "Back for more?" Jake handed him a deed. Carter's Auto Showroom, sold back to Jake Mitchell after a strategic resale. "I own this again," he said calmly. "Remember when you judged us? Today I'm the boss. Same Jake, same heart." Chad paled, staff silent. Jake added, "Let's start a fund. Free cars for vets, paid by my profits." Driving home, Hank asked, "Proud, son?" Jake smiled. "Now, I'll lift 1,000 more like me." But the story wasn't done. Earl, the lender, resurfaced, demanding repayment with interest that had ballooned to $12,000. Jake confronted him at the diner, sliding a check across the table. "We're square, and stay away from my town." Earl grumbled but took the money, his shadow fading. Jake then turned to the school, funding a tech lab where kids like him could learn, naming it the Mitchell Makerspace. At the ribbon cutting, a young boy asked, "Mr. Mitchell, how'd you do it?" Jake knelt, his eyes soft. "Hard work and heart, kid. You've got it too." The crowd cheered, Sarah wiping a tear, Hank steady on his cane. One evening, as snow dusted Main Street, Jake stood on the porch, watching Lily and Ethan drive off for their honeymoon. Sarah joined him, her voice quiet. "You've given us everything, Jake." He shook his head. "Not yet, Ma. I'm just getting started." Under the vast Montana sky, he whispered, "This is the beginning of lifting us all."